Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. On every stage so far we have had some change to the map pool in advance of the stage. For stage 1 of course we just had the standard map pool that's going into the season, but then for stage 2 we had a change. Express's Search and Destroy came in favour of Garrison, or well Garrison came out, Express came in, and in the hard points it was actually Crossroads that went out and Apocalypse came in. Now Express I think has been a great success in the map pool, Apocalypse though not necessarily the case. We barely see it in competitive play, the pros don't really seem to like it. Should there be some sort of change that comes back in, and Crossroads could potentially even return it to the Mapset going forwards. Intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Thank you very much for doing that. This I thought was pretty funny from Methods. I was relentlessly having Minnesota Rokkr so bad in scrims today that Brian Sate was in my chat defending his team. So Methods' new team of course in the Challengers region was playing up against the Minnesota Rokkr, and as Kieran says in reply right here, they haven't played on the new meta and Lamar and Dylan just got off a flight from Cali and Ubered right to the facility. So you know, apparently that's what saved that being their coach was saying in the chat to try and well defend his team from getting bodied by Methods and the boys. I don't think they necessarily got bodied. This I thought was pretty cool. If you guys want to follow Scrimtel on Twitter, he's doing a good job keeping up with how the scrims are going for some of these teams that are streaming their practice at the present time. This is well some of the team recap thread for that Minnesota Rokkr versus Methods team highlight thread, all that good stuff. And then also this one as well. So subliners, that being the new subliners with Hydra in the team versus MajorManiak's team, that was UT Crew. So yeah, I think subliners got a pretty decent result in this one over the course of the scrim sets. Of course it's scrims, and a fair few people were saying that Hydra was looking pretty damn good in their team already. This I thought was interesting from Kevy Skills, 22 days since Scump last streams. So there are some questions right now about what Optic are doing in terms of streaming their scrims, because a lot of players of course will like to stream their scrims on a pretty regular basis from the Optic team, but they haven't done so in quite a while since their difficult defeat of course that they had at the stage 2 major. So questions are there whether they will return to streaming anytime soon, what's going to happen along those lines, whether they're doing a lot of their practice for the foreseeable future in an offline, non-streamed environment after all, despite, you know, what Formal had to say that it doesn't make too much difference not too long ago, even though they were kind of saying that they will get back to it, maybe just need some time off to, you know, think about things through a different angle and be back in due course. But still kind of strange to see the Optic guys not streaming on a regular basis, given that's pretty much what we expect from this team at this point. Also along the lines of kind of recent changes that maybe haven't gone to fruition, this comes out from Brian Sate. These new control settings do not seem to be it. Every round is basically TDM when offense has little pressure to actually push towards a point unless they immediately get put into a spawn trap. So effectively what's going on here, you guys might be aware that they made some changes to the control settings. I believe these are now active in league play actually, but effectively when you cap an entire point in control, you typically would get an entire minute on your clock. But the problem is that if you went towards A, you get like 2 ticks over there, you go towards B, you get 2 ticks over there, you still haven't got any time additionally on the clock to try and get that final tick, and things become a bit of a mess and it becomes very difficult for the offense. So there's that side of it first of all, which I think is one of the issues really that Saint is getting at right here. The fact that nowadays they've changed it so that I think the pros have been trialing this, and as I say, I'm pretty sure it's active in league play, that every tick you get 20 seconds on the clock. So when you cap the full thing, you still only get 20 seconds, but you get 20 seconds from each of the individual ticks, so you still get the minute on the whole. Now, okay, this should make it easier for offense, right? Because, okay, if you get 2 ticks on A, 2 ticks on B, then you have plenty of time to work with still to try and get that final tick on one of the points, which may have made offense easier on something like Checkmate, where it was very defense heavy right at the start of the game. But now you can actually see that Checkmate, you're getting a fair few offense wins, even at the stage 2 major, with teams finally figuring out how to actually win offenses on that map, and probably the same with Garrison as well. So maybe this makes things even too easy for the offensive side, especially on a map like Rage, you could argue, which is already pretty good for the offense as is. And then as Octane's kind of saying as well right here, Pierce, that being Gunless, was in a 1v2 with 1 minute 30 on the timer the other day, saying that, I mean, effectively it's just TDM, as Saint says, because you've got so much time on the hill that you've got so much time on the clock that you don't really need to pressure the hill. You can just wait there for half an hour just playing for kills before actually getting on the point. So maybe this is maybe this is backfired to some degree. We'll have to see how it plays out during stage 3. So of course, Crossroads, this map right here, used to be in the map set for stage 1, but for stage 2 it was replaced by Apocalypse Hardpoint, and even then we haven't really seen too much Apocalypse Hardpoint. Thought this is a funny clip as well. So this is initially when they changed the the P4 location. So the entirety of stage 1 they played with this P4 over by this kind of like tent thing over the left hand side, but towards the end of the stage they changed where the 4th hardpoint was down to the street, down to like that kind of ice area down near where the bomb site is in Search and Destroy. I believe it's the A bomb. So okay, like this was a change. It's kind of interesting. It's definitely a very mixy hill. It's kind of funny. Cruz's team right here rotates to the old hardpoint when this change initially came into effect, but not too long after this the pros decided they weren't too happy with Crossroads. They were going to get rid of it from the map set. It goes, and Apocalypse hardpoint comes in. So Crossroads hardpoint is removed, Garrison Search and Destroy removed in advance of stage 2, and then Apocalypse Apocalypse, Hardpoint, and Express Search and Destroy come in. Express Search, I think, has been fantastic, but on the other side of things, Apocalypse has been, well, there's a fair few question marks that have come up as a result of this one. This, of course, is the map in full force if you guys are not aware of it. This clip that Drama put on Twitter just a couple of days ago, but it has been a map that, well, hasn't been played too much. And I went through and looked at all the statistics on the Breaking Point site to try and find out how many times this map has been played, and I'm pretty sure that Crossroads in Stage 1 was played 14 times, or 14 or 15 times, I'm not exactly sure, but then Apocalypse has only been played 7 times. So this map has been seen half as many times as Crossroads was in the first stage, and you can say, okay, early part of the game, people are going to try out different maps and see what works, and we get into Stage 2, Stage 3, this type of stuff, people get more, well, clued up on what their Mapset is going to be, but still, I mean, this map came in, it was so promising initially early on, people were talking super highly of it, but then none of the pro teams actually seem to want to play it. It gets vetoed in pretty much every series, and we've seen like 7 games or 7 maps on this map in the entirety of Stage 2, all throughout the stage, and also the major included. Much less than something like Checkmate, which you pretty much see in Hardpoint most series at this point, and of course it's only one gamer, so you're not going to see it in the other, well, game modes. Of course, yeah, it's just Hardpoint for Apocalypse, but still, there are some questions whether it should be the case, and there has also been some talk about this P2 hill. I mean, Parasite was talking about how this map is effectively just Hackney Yards from the previous game, where the first hill's kind of mixy, you go back to P2, P3's kind of mixy, then P4, you know, you can hold to some degree, and P5 is also kind of a money hill. It's actually very similar in terms of layout to what Hackney Yard was last season, and so, well, this second hill, people have had very much difficulty breaking this one, and I think that's part of the reason why people don't want to play this map, because if you spawn on the bad side, you've got a very difficult time actually getting to the second hill. Now, it was played in the grand finals, Atlanta FaZe versus Toronto Ultra. They did a fantastic job breaking this early on by effectively just, well, on the first hardpoint, they all just ran through this side of things, flipped the spawns immediately, and then got the rotations for P2, even though FaZe, I believe, did end up closing out that map regardless. What do you guys think about Apocalypse? Do you like it? Do you not think it's too bad? But at the end of the day, maybe you haven't got the opportunity to make up your mind yet, because we haven't really seen it too much so far in the league. And as Saints Nato says, Crossroads is better than Apoc, by the way. Envoy doesn't agree, he says faded. Definitely, well, Apocalypse is the way to go. And Envoy and the Optic guys looked really, really good on that map early on, but it doesn't really seem like they want to play it too much. I'm not sure if other teams are banning it against them on a regular basis, or whether they're just deciding not to pick it or banning it themselves, because you haven't really seen Optic play that map too much. And I thought that it was going to be a crucial element of their map set going into this stage. I thought that in Stage 2, that's when you'd see Optic play a lot of Apocalypse, and actually, yeah, that would be kind of their go-to map in the hardpoints, given that they didn't really have a go-to map, and they never really liked Crossroads, so I thought they'd maybe go down a more Apocalypse route, but there's really no team that's chosen Apocalypse as kind of their go-to hardpoint map that, well, other teams are playing on a regular basis. So it's kind of interesting to see, and a Method says something very similar. Crossroads is better than Apocalypse. So, you know, what are you guys' thoughts on this? Should we bring up Crossroads back? That is another question mark. Is it, well, obviously, I'm not really sure if that map was so great, to be honest, but yeah, is it better than Apocalypse? If we see it more often in pro play, then I'd kind of be down to go down this route, in the sense that, okay, well, if we only see Apocalypse like once every 3 series or something, but Crossroads we were seeing on a pretty regular basis, then maybe that's better for the viewer experience to have a little bit more variety than just, well, Checkmate Hardpoint every single series, even though Checkmate Hardpoint's actually okay, but, you know, we've got a 5-map set, it'd be nice to actually be seeing all 5 of those maps in play, which doesn't really seem like is the case right now. And as IOU Turtle says as well, throughout the first 2 stages, there are, well, here are the teams and the maps they have yet to play on. So in Hardpoint, it's actually Dallas Empire and the Rokkr, that both those teams have never played Apocalypse. I believe the Rokkr also never played Crossroads, which is kind of interesting, but the Dallas have not played Apocalypse, and Crossroads is actually one of their go-tos. They were pretty good on the map. I mean, Huke especially, I remember he dropped 40 against Seattle in one of the first series of the year. In Search and Destroy, there's actually a few teams that haven't played maps yet. Interesting, actually, Subliners not playing Raids, given the fact that Clayster on Raid back in the day was such a menace, but it doesn't really seem like a Raid Search and Destroy is the route they want to go down right here. Also, I thought Round 11 Stats makes an interesting point regarding Checkmate if we're talking about maps that aren't in the best spot. Checkmate Search and Destroy is another one that I kind of wish, well, found its way out the door for Stage 3, but we don't really have another map that we could actually replace it with in a reasonable way. But it has the lowest attack win percentage, so you can see that on Raids, beautifully balanced map, 50-50, attack and defense, winning 50% of the time on either side. It's just wonderful to see. But on Checkmate, it's only a 37 attack win percentage. It's really the plants per round, which is kind of ugly right here compared to the other maps. I mean, it just seems like offense has such a difficult time. They almost always, well, the defense almost always holds, and even then it's really difficult to get a plant down on that map, even to get towards the B side, and obviously getting to A is pretty much impossible. So it'd have been nice if there was some replacement to Checkmate, but it doesn't seem like the Stage 3 we're going to have any change to the map set. Maybe for stage 4 that will be possible. We're probably only 1 or 2 more changes, I would imagine, before the end of the year, because I'm sure they want stage 5 especially and champs to be played on the same map set, and probably stage 4 as well. So that's what I would expect to happen. And so just talking about disappointments really for the year, thought this is interesting from Hitcher, right? So league play was a pretty massive disappointment. I'm level 3, says Octane. Thought this is crazy, right? Given how much how much league play, or well, it wasn't really league play, but it was kind of whatever the playlist was called, the CDL playlist last year in Modern Warfare. Octane played so much of that for his YouTube channel, but really just hasn't played any of it even here, and is only level 3. Definitely, I think, sums up the spot the league play is in at the present time. Wanted to go through some player cards as well, stage 2 cards from the Los Angeles Guerrillas first of all, and it's kind of sad to see in the sense, okay, we've got Vivid here putting up good numbers. The overalls are not necessarily related to, well, just KD, but it considers factors like engagements per minute, and it considers their role as well, like how they're playing compared to other players in their role. So Vivid, Assault, and Silly also, well, putting up decent numbers in terms of the overall statistics points. aBeZy didn't have the greatest time of things with only a 70 card right here, and you do have to wonder, right, like if this team's going to make a change, is aBeZy the one that finds himself out? I mean, such a legendary Call of Duty player, probably I would say the second best SMG player of all time behind Scump. I mean, 2-time world champion, of course, but the guys at LAG may be thinking it could be his time to step away from the scene if things do not improve significantly for this squad into stage 3, but it does seem like they're going to be sticking at least for now. These are the Paris Legion cards as well, so Fire is out of this team, of course. Temp is in this lineup for the beginning of stage 3, so that could be a step in the right direction. Scraps has been talking about he's been absolutely frying with the Krieg as of late, so Accra and Scraps on the Kriegs, Temp and Classic on the SMGs. That, well, seems kind of scary, to be honest. I'm sure they can mix things up. They said, well, stage 3 is just going to be insane. I've talked about it a number of times already. And then, well, this as well, as you can see, a pretty similar story right here on the Florida Mutineers, where slacked in terms of his overall performance level. You know, I mean, obviously it's just statistics at the end of the day, but clearly, I mean, they look at this type of stuff behind the scenes from the management side, and they decide, okay, yeah, slacked out, Havoc in, that's going to be what we're going for, and so, well, maybe it'll improve this team as well. And if it does, I mean, I don't know how to predict these series anymore. There's going to be, well, honeymoon periods galore, plus so many great teams. It's going to be absolute chaos. But intrigued to hear your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm. I know you enjoyed this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well, and I've grown the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always. Take care, and I will see you next time.
I know, but one thing that I want you to really hear me out on, and just listen to me right now, because I'm telling you, Dante, this is how I talked when I was 18, and I was just way better than you, so it didn't matter. But you're on the edge right now. So like, you need to understand, bro, that people, because you're getting into the spotlight and stuff now, and a lot of eyes are on you because you're super talented. Like, people are gonna say dumb, like stupid to get reactions out of you, like you've been having. And like, that's kind of where I was kind of giving you that shot yesterday, that test, to be like, yo, people are saying you're a bad attitude. That's where you respond and you say, you know what, I had a bad attitude, but I've had a clear head ever since. I've never had a problem with anything. I've never had a problem with anyone, and I just want to be the best player in the world. I want to be the best on my